Welcome back. This week I wanted to talk about gospel blues. In this lesson we're going to talk about what I just played at the beginning and like how you form the gospel blues progression. And then we'll talk about a little bit about like how you can spice it up a little bit with arpeggios and walk-up and walkdowns and things like that. So let's just jump right in and go for it. So first let's go over that standard 8-bar blues. Now standard 8-bar blues, it's not as common as the 12-bar blues, but yeah, it does come up a lot. You might have heard it in songs like Key to the Highway or Sitting on Top of the World. Those are kind of some standard 8-bar blues. So right now, I'm going to play the 8-bar blues a little bit faster. So like maybe like a 6/8 groove. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, E, 4, 5, 6, 5 chord, B7, A chord. Okay, now back to the 1, B7, and then the 1, and back to the B7 again. Okay, one more time, E, B7, A. You can add a playable cadence here, A minor, it's cool. E, B7, E, and B7 again. Okay, now that's just the standard 8-bar blues. I just wanted to play it so you could kind of see it as I'm pointing it out on the screen over here. Let's talk about like how we can make that into a gospel blues now, okay? We're taking a lot of elements of jazz stuff. So when you do jazz progressions and things like that, all it means is that you are adding in 2-5-1 progressions or 6-2-5-1 progressions or 3-6-2-5-1 progressions into your standard style blues or whatever it is. So in order to do that, we're gonna need to do some changes here. So when we walk through, let's take a look at the turnaround, the second 4 bars. So this is where we're gonna have the most action, where we used to just have a 1-5-1-5 progression. Now we're gonna have a 1, 6 to 5, and then a 1, 4, sharp 4 diminished, back to the 1 to a 5, augmented, okay? So that's what we're adding into that second row. Again, why are we doing that? Well, it's because we gotta add those 2-5-1 progressions into what we're doing. So that's straight what we basically did. We did the second row, it goes 1, 6, 2, 5. So now let's take a look at the top of the song. So obviously the first measure, we're gonna have an E chord. Okay, we're gonna play that for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, and this is another interesting change. Instead of going straight to the 5 chord, we're actually gonna go to the 3 chord. We're gonna go from the 3 to the 4. It's a very natural motion because we have open, the 1, to the 3, and that leads very nicely to the 4, and just a chromatic movement one step below it, okay? So those are all the chords, that's the basic progression. I'm just gonna actually strum the whole thing now in a really, really slow fashion without any kind of ornaments, just the chords so you can get through it. So the metronome is clicking here. I've set it up for 12/8 time signature. And let's click it at around 140 BPM. Okay, turn it up a little bit. 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. G sharp, 7. Going to A. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. A again. Okay, then the A sharp diminished. Okay, now we can go E over B. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 3, 4, 5, 6, F sharp 7, okay, to B7, E, E7, A sharp diminished, E7 over B, 4, 5, 6, B augmented. Okay, so that's that clicking at 140 at 12/8 time signature. Okay, and now I want to talk about kind of just like what you should do to kind of spice it up just a little bit. I mean, this is a very basic arrangement. And the best thing to do is fill it in with arpeggios. So if you're playing fingerstyle, which is what I like to teach the most, will be basically just counting to 12. So on the E chord, we'll go like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You can just kind of start to do arpeggios. That makes it sound a little bit more interesting than just the strumming, right? Okay, that's one step. You can just, basically I'm just kind of arpeggiating up and down the chords. With arpeggios, as long as you're holding the chord with the left hand correctly, none of the strings will be wrong, unless it's not a string that's in the chord. So as long as you're holding that chord, feel free to just do any right hand patterns that we might have learned already. Okay, so that's one step. The next step would be kind of like adding in these little small riffs and things like that. So I only do like a little riff, I think, over the E chord, and this is a really common riff. Okay, so what we're doing there is basically hitting the E chord and then kind of like an A chord over an E bass note. Okay, and then oftentimes when people play this is a really, really common movement. They'll hammer on that first finger open to 1 to that E chord, just to give it a kind of a more bluesy type feel. So the way I was playing at the beginning was E. Okay. The other thing I'm doing is I'm accenting beat 4 and 10 like we discussed before with kind of like a different strum. So I'm kind of just strumming harder. If you're doing a fingerstyle, if you kind of strum with the back of your nails downwards like this, it sounds different than, your thumb because you're catching some of the nails. It's brighter, so it'll sound like an accent. And I'm adding those accents a lot on beats 4 and 10. So measure 1 with accents and the little riff sounds like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Next thing I'm doing is walk up and walk downs. Okay, so when you're about to get to the next chord, you can think like a bass player and think like E 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1. Okay. Notice how on those last notes, and even though we're counting in 12s, it's sometimes easier to just count to 6 twice in a row, so you don't have to get that awkward 7 in there. So that's why I'm counting like that. So notice how when I went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1. I want to land on this next chord tone, which is the G sharp note. That's the next chord that comes up, and I want to land on that on beat 1. So what I do, 2 beats before that, if you're counting in 6s, it's going to be on beat 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then 1. Okay, and you can always do that on beat 5, or if you think about it like beat 11, if you're counting to 12s, but it's probably easier to count to 6. Every time you get to that beat 5 or beat 11, you can walk into the next chord tone from 2 frets above it or 2 frets below it. So another example of that might be like let's talk about like a bar 5 and bar 6. So we have an E, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. F sharp minor to B7. What you can do there is play 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. See what I did there is every time 2 beats before, I'm walking into the chord. Let me slow that down one more time. So I'm going from E to C sharp. So that's the bass note. Okay, and then from there I'm going to F sharp. From there I'm going to B. So E, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, same thing from the C sharp 7 going to the F. We're going to there, so you can walk it down, bom, 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 like that. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. B7. Okay, and that just kind of it separates the parts a little bit, and it kind of seems like you're doing a little bit more than what it feels like you're doing. It doesn't feel like you're doing anything but playing chords and arpeggios. Okay, so adding those walk-ups really kind of spices it up a little bit. And that's it. Kind of those are the basic things I wanted to talk about for this lesson. What is a gospel blues? Again, it's not really different than a standard blues. It's just kind of like a jazz blues. Oftentimes they'll do slow blues, and oftentimes they'll do an 8-bar form instead of the 12-bar blues. And then next I wanted to talk about how you can turn that 8-bar blues standard into a gospel blues by kind of making it jazzier by adding those 1-6-2-5s and some chromatic movement with diminished chords and things like that. Also adding that augmented chord at the end of the song or at the beginning as an intro. And then just kind of how to spice it up just a bit with those arpeggios. and Walkups and Walkdowns. Okay, so take your time on this one. For FGA members, we have I'll have the tabs available in the portal like usual. Just search for the title of this video and you'll find it in there. Okay, thanks again. Please consider joining the FGA members only, or buying some of my courses to support the channel. And that's it. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys on the next one.